Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It's a lovely weather here in Europe. It's very warm, and I'm glad that we have gathered here despite the weather. Uh, Still, we are here to see what is this new technology that has come here in our world, in our lives, and I hope you will enjoy our today's presentation. And well, at first, I tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Mihkel. I'm from Estonia and I have been with SkyWay. I've been an investor of this technology for more than 3 years now, and I have been honored to to well, I received an invitation before a few years ago to come both in Belarus to see the Ecotechnopark there, which is the first certification and demonstration center. And secondly, I have been twice actually, but the first time there was basically nothing, only flags uh, next to the road where cars drove the SkyWay flags. But the second time I was there with a SkyWay community members. There was about 50 of us, and we got the chance to see all of this development in United Arab Emirates in the Innovation Center in Sharjah by our own eyes, and that was awesome. And I hope because this year the expo will start the event, and SkyWay is also presented there. And there was a questionnaire before which I received via email that would I like to go there, and I think maybe the board members are planning some kind of event there. So if that chance arises to all of us, then I urge you to take part of it and come and see this with your own eyes as well. But all right, let's continue with today's presentation. First of all, I will show you I will give you the glimpse of what has happened in Sharjah in United Arab Emirates. And this is the first picture I will show you. And as you can see, this is the first line as well. Because on the right side in the corner, you can see the 400-meter track, the very beautiful one. And it's ready. It's already, well, the certification process already goes on actively there on that line. And as we know, there are 3 more lines coming, which are all 2.5 kilometers long. So they are about 5 or 6 times longer than this one. And well, mainly because of the speed. So we could test the models with higher speed. And secondly, the other ones, you can actually see on the left side under this rooftop. Here you can see the supports already placed, and that track will come to hold, so it's stronger, so it can hold heavy weights as well, for example for cargo and sea containers. All right, and another picture from another angle. Then of course what is great is that we have the first ever built wooden house in Sharjah. Well, I mean, first ever wooden house that has been built in United Arab Emirates. So never before any company has officially, at least, been able to construct a wooden house there. Well, there are many reasons for this one, but yes. So Skyway is the first one, and this is called Eco House, and the main mission of this house is to maintain itself fully, so it can produce both electricity, water, cool, and so on. So it should be self regulating house, so to say. And another angle of this. And then, of course, the tropical unicar, which is very awesome. And I got the chance to try with it in Belarus, in Marina Korka at the Eco Festival. And I was also 15 meters above the ground, and it was awesome. Just the view and the look. And if anyhow as we know what's going on in the world, if anyhow there will be another chance that we can go there. I believe it will become next year, probably, maybe after next one, next year. Well, it depends on how it goes on with this coronavirus. But if that opportunity comes, then I again urge you all and invite you all to come there and see this with your own eyes. You can feel it, you can touch it, you can ride with it. It's very awesome one day. But all right, then the sea containers, as I said before. So even the monorail, what you can see on this picture, which is meant to hold lighter ways, even this one can transport goods via sea container transportation system. Unitruck, it's called. And this, of course, this sea container is the half of the size. Well, there are two sizes. One is bigger, 40 foot long, and weighs about 10 to 20 tons, depends on how much load is on board, so to say. But this one is almost half the size. But nevertheless, it is still very awesome, and it's very cool to see that it's the operation is going on very well and actively. So, all right. Next, we'll go see the main presentation part, and in the end, I will tell you the recent news as well. As usual, I hope you will enjoy it. I will show you at the moment. Well, we go first of all, we go back in the history, and I will show you what has been done so far, not with SkyWay, but I mean with other technologies as well, so you can have some comparison with what I'm going to show you after the first part. All right, let's continue. And almost 100 years ago, well, a little bit less, in 1920 or something year, was this picture made by an artist who pictured the future, as you can see on the slide. And he is not wrong, because as you might understand, well, in most of the biggest cities, for example, Moscow, St. Petersburg, Rome in Italy, then in the United States and so on, there are very well built and developed first level infrastructure. By first level, I mean the ground floor, the cars, the tramways, the trolley buses, trains, taxis, bicycle, roads for bicycling, and for jogging or walking as well. And what is more, there are also the underground systems for subways already constructed, but the problems still occur and the problems grow, because mostly, well, the people are moving into the cities to work there, to live there more and more, and of course the population is growing, as we know, and well, there are more. Well, it's more possible for people to buy cars, so the level of success or the level of comfort has risen. So almost every person who has license will buy a car or a vehicle to drive with it, and that one also causes the number of cars in the traffic to rise, and therefore causing many problems. So what I want to say with this long story, so to make the long story short, the only way where we can go next is second level, and that's why SkyWay is here, and this has come to help us. Because another point is that when we think about inner cities or the city centers, there is no way we can even build the wider roads, because we cannot just tear down the houses and build another road or the section of road there. So the choices are limited, and the most reasonable choice is that we go on the second level. And of course, people have tried it before as well, as you can see on this slide, with normal trains or with monorail on the right side. And well, if you look, just remember these constructions, how massive they are at these pictures. And so I will later show you more pictures of SkyWay, then you can get the glimpse what I'm trying to say or tell you. And another angle from monorail technology, it's much slower, it's more expensive to construct, for example, and it's very massive. Then in Germany there is technology which is like this, and this is also more than 20 years already back it was built. And then again, take a look at the supports. They are almost after every 15 or 20 meters, so it's very hard to construct it or place it or build it into the city centers or through the city. So the best ways are like you see on this picture. And then this is from picture from China, and this is basically a tramway, but it's upside down. But by the technology, it doesn't have any more special aspects or something new about this technology than the tram. And then we have this technology, which is, most of you, I believe, have been ski resorting in the hills, and there you can witness the system that takes you to the hill is basically the same, works on the same analog as you can see on these pictures. And on the right side, let's take a look at the right picture on the right side and down right side, the orange wheel. So this is the engine, and the engine spins and takes the rope or the chain or the string with it. So the capsule or the model or the transportation wagon, so to say, it doesn't move itself, but it clings or holds to the string, and the string moves. The same is on the left side. So yeah, that's it. And then of course I have brought to the slides this picture as well. This is a metro. Very beautiful metro stations are in Russia indeed, but again it's very expensive to construct it. For example, under 2nd Avenue in New York, they constructed a new metro way, and 1 kilometer cost more than 1 billion with billion US dollars. So it's very expensive. But now let's take a look at the new age, new spirit, new energy, and this is SkyWay. And as it said, picture says more than 1,000 words. SkyWay really is an amazing technology. It suits perfectly into the environments. It can be modified. The supports can be modified by the needs. For example, in my town in Tartu, it's a university town, then it has to be modified as this university, the buildings have these supports there, these ovals. So it can be shaped in every possible way. And it's very neat, it's very sharp, it's clean, it doesn't have some massive constructions as you can see on the picture. Now, now we are on the second part, and we will see seven reasons why SkyWay is here, why SkyWay will stay, and why SkyWay will rock the world, as I like to say, because we have no other technologies at the moment that can be competitors to SkyWay. And as Mr. or Dr. Anatoly Nisky, who is the creator of SkyWay, also says that we are ahead about 10 years from possible competitors. And since it is all patented in every possible way, all the designs, the technology parts and so on, it's also impossible to construct the same effective transportation system. But first point is that SkyWay is innovative, and there are many aspects about innovation. First, of course, the design. I will show you the next picture as well, because this is the monorail, as I like to say. This is the double rail, and the second one is if you compare it with normal ordinary tramways or trainways as well, then we can see, or train tracks, sorry, then we can see that let's picture that like this. When train drives, it can only drive in one direction per moment. So, but with SkyWay, when we are above the ground, as you can see on this picture, we can drive both ways. We can drive, well, above the trail, above the track, well, on the track, so to say, and clinging underneath the track. So there are two possible ways at the same time. So this makes it already double efficient. And of course, the speed in a city is up to 150 kilometers per hour, and between cities, so on the line, the high-speed train can go up to 500 to 600 kilometers per hour. And that fast line is already, the track will be built within next 2 years. So we are all, investors especially, are all very waiting for the moment when we can see it driving 500 kilometers per hour. So this will be a very special moment. But then again, the the track rails also are very special because they are, well, first of all, there are pre-stressed strings. As you can see, there are three groups of them, those on this specific picture. But there are pre-stressed strings, and the body or the rail frame itself is filled with special filler, and there can even be put in some holes or pipes, so to say, inside the rail among this construction, as you can see on this picture, through which we can take all different wires, for example, internet, electricity, and so on. So it can take electricity and internet and other great goods to all the villages, for example, in Africa, where they do not have yet or still the electricity. So this is also patented, this combination. And then another picture I made myself in Eco Festival. You can see the short video. I made a short video about 1 minute long, and about my experience there. You can Google, or sorry, go to YouTube and type in my name, and then you can find this video. But it is really special, and the feeling driving above the ground 15 meters. And I don't know if you know it, but the SkyWay track can even be lifted up to 100 meters high. So, of course, it's much more expensive, but that's the possibility. Sorry, this one we already saw. The second point is it is ecological, and as you can see on this picture again, even the heavy track, which is well, the double rail track, suits very well to the environment, and it well looks very beautiful. It doesn't harm the eye, and so on. What well mostly people are afraid of, maybe disrupting some eyesight when we put technology on the second level, but no, this one suits very well. And of course, under the second point, we have to talk about the CO2 levels. And as you might know, the world is going toward reducing a lot of CO2 levels. Well, especially the engines which burn the fuel and generate this exhaustion, so to say, as you can see on this picture. So therefore, all these technologies will die out sooner or later, which are like similar like on this picture, and will be separated with electricity ones. So, and SkyWay is fully electrical, running fully on electricity. And well, under ecological part, we can also, what makes it also cheaper, so to say, is that we do not have any screen effect, and we have this body shaped perfectly to cut the wind. So there will be no wind. Well, the wind coefficient to what it reduces is it's even 10 times lower than with cars, and mostly because of the screen effect. The wind won't well go into the road, or the road won't make any attachment to the wind. When we are on the second level, it can go directly beneath the models. And then all the problems that we have today on the first level, in African countries and in tropical climates, we have these strong winds. Therefore, the sand can be on the roads very costly to clean it all the time. and to maintain it. Also in the wintertime with trains, we have a problem that when there's a strong or a lot of snow coming down, then it can lift the train above the track, so it can go off the track. And therefore the heavy trains which will clear the path for commercial ones are needed. And also all necessary constructions of the road bridges and so on. All this will, well, if we put SkyWay, for example, here, and we describe it in the Europe, for example, where the grass grows very well, and well, the trees and bushes and so on, they all can be there still, even if we have a road above them. So we don't have to cut down the trees and to make the roads. And that's another great aspect of it as well. All right, I'll put on the next slideshow. Yes, and here you can see on the left side this one. But what is more important to know is that when we want to construct a new road, as you can see, let it be a railroad or let it be a car road or whatever, then we have to dig about 5 to 7 meters underground and fill it with special fillers so the road can hold its structure above. But and on the right side, well, in countries where there are a lot of mountains and rocks, then there is a there's explosions needed, so to say, and that is a very great field of expertise as well, and very developed. For example, in Finland, this category of well, this section of economy. So yes, again, very expensive to do those. And now with SkyWay, we have a possibility to take the transportation over the mountains, or we can, well, basically go from point A to point B without the need to, well, to dig up the land, so to say. We only need to place the supports in the logical places and then take the track above. So therefore, it's again very efficient. And even the rivers or seas or lakes or so on are not the obstacle for us, but there is a solution for those as well. At this point, I already described to you this thing with the population and the growth of the number of cars, and of course the traffic jams, which are occurring more often each year, again due to the facts I told you before. So this, well, we'll need a solution. One solution what governments have thought about is that they will ban, first of all, they will ban cars entering the city with cars which run on fossil fuels. So only electricity mobiles will stay there. And after that one, they probably, when people are mostly switched to electrical vehicles, then they will probably switch they need, well, they will ban cars in total. So it will, sorry about, I will. So anyways, we'll see what the governments will come up and where the world develops. But the main point is that we will, well, in the future probably need to use less cars, or, well, are urged to use. So therefore SkyWay again is a great solution that we can, well, comparing with buses, for example, which are very slow and so on. And again, in the traffic, then we can go above the ground where there are no traffic jams, there are no accidents, and so on. So many great aspects about it, as you can see on these pictures. So beautiful, ain't they? It's really beautiful, aren't they? All right, the next point is about safety. A lot of questions about safety, I know. So is it safe to go there above the ground? What happens if the model stops? What happens if, well, something collapses or so on? There is a great booklet, or the book, 100 pages, about and all the questions about safety are answered there as well. It's called 100 Questions and 100 Answers. It's made by Dr. Anatoly Nitsky, and those are the most popular questions that are being that are asked from him about the technology. So he's putting together this great book, and it's available for free in internet. Just type in 100 questions, 100 answers, and 100 questions and 100 answers, and you will find it by Dr. Anatoly Unitsky. But all right, let's talk about a little bit about safety. First of all, the derailment system and the motor wheel itself, they will hold it so strongly there. So even if we, well, turn upside down the model, or from there upside down, it will, well, it's like a spider. It clings very strongly there. So therefore, it's a great great technology that already making it safer. But secondly, we have all these well, all these cameras and eye, so third eye for 360 degrees vision there. So if anything, any obstacle would come in front of the, well, in front of the track or in front of the model, it will immediately stop. And it's already tested as well. There are videos about it. Again, Dr. Antonitsky, he ran in front of the unibus, then it automatically stopped. When Antonitsky started running one way, it started following, and the other way, it started backwarding. So it works very well. Also inside the cabin, there are cameras. So for example, if we are crossing borders, then we can do passport checks and so on via the system itself. Then if something happens above the ground there, then as you can see in front and in the back side of the models, there are special elements which will attach with each other with the other model 100%. So if something happens one model, the other similar model will come, and it can either push or pull it to the station or to the maintenance, as you can see on the picture below. And it was also demonstrated in EcoFest 2019, and it worked very well. And if we do not have the previous choice or previous option, then we have, like in helicopter, straps we pull around the waist them, and we can lower ourselves to the ground. So no problem. And I believe it's much more safer than this version of transportation, as you can see on this picture. Am I right? All right. Jokes. Let's leave the jokes there, and let's talk more about SkyWay. Fourth and very important point is that we have real models, we have real products. They are already being developed since 2000. Well, since 2015, there was the first construction that was made in eco-technoparks. So the construction started back then there, but the research and development, well, on the papers and in the mind of Dr. Antonitsky has already, well, it has been there in his mind and on the papers for about 40 years by now. So it's not a new idea or something like, whoa, we have to do it, but it has been developed a very long time. He has calculated everything since he's a scientist as well. And therefore it has mathematically and all these necessary aspects have been thoroughly thought about, and therefore we can see such a great development what we have today. So within 5 or 6 years, we have more than 10 different models. We have 2 demonstration and certification centers. One of them is undergoing development. Well, both of them are undergoing development, but in Sarsha, the development process goes very actively on. There are more tracks coming and so on. Even in Ecotechnopark in Belarus, they started constructing new track. And we are still waiting for the high-speed line, which we will see within 2 years. So the work goes on very, very actively. And then I will show you these models as well. And already in Belarus, by Russian and Belarus standards, are certified. The Uniwind, Unibike, Unibus, and Unibike were the first models that were certified. There are about 6 or 7 models that are certified already, and many more of them are under the process of certification. for example, like this tropical unicorn, because there are the climate standards are different, and well, there are the salty air and so on. So it has to be tested differently than and built differently than within Europe climate conditions. And then we have these Unicons, Unitrucks, Unitrans systems, which are meant to take cargo or goods from point A to point B. And if we compare it with, well, the trucks, which take the sea containers or the cargo today, their average speed of those are about 10 kilometers per hour. There are these mandatory pauses the drivers have to take, and the traffics and so on, the traffic and so on. So, but on the second level, we can go with average speed about 70 to 100 kilometers per hour, and we have two ways to go, not only one way, and the loading process is about under 60 seconds, so it's very efficient, and we will see these tracks in the future, certainly. This is one revolutionary thing. Oh, and here you can see a picture as well. This is this is animation picture, of course, but this is what it will look like in such soon. All right. The fifth point is that we have a demand today everywhere for SkyWay. And we started from Belarus, we have made our way to United Arab Emirates, and as I know, we have many pre-contracts and memorandum of understandings and, well, contact persons, and the work goes on basically on every continent. So it's not that far anymore when we can see the true revolutionary of transportation. And this and the leader is, of course, SkyWay, as Antonio Niski has is already said. Also said, sorry, that about 50% of the second transportation sector will be held by SkyWay. And the sixth point is that we have a strong and professional team. We have more than 600 workers, all the specialists needed to build the dream of Antonio Niski, and we have about 1 million investors today who have invested their money as well in the project, who are the fuels, so to say. And we have many departments, design bureaus, and so on. All right, let's see. 7 point. 7 point is the money side. And there are two main groups I see to whom it's financially beneficial. One is the group who orders the technology, who wants it to be placed, let it be government or, well, city or private company who wants the technology. And another group is or are investors who are, well, out of great intentions and well, who believe in the project and who will support the SkyWay financially. Therefore, they receive the shares of the technology. So wherever in the world SkyWay tracks are placed, the profit which the company makes, 20% of the profits will be divided between the investors. Well, depending on how much, on exactly how much shares they have. And of course, that's the dividend part. And when we will enter the open market, the world market, so-called through IPO, then it's possible to, well, sell or buy new shares as well. And the prices will be much higher than they are today when we invest. So for customer, as you can see now, the price level, I did the research my own as well. Of course, it's in Estonian language, but it was 25 pages because of my, well, in university I had the chance to do I had to do a research, and I decided to do it on SkyWay, and I compared other transportation technologies as well. I received the grade A, and what I found out was the fact that on the 2nd Avenue in New York, for example, when they constructed a metro or the subway, it cost more than $1 billion US. But if we compare it with, for example, monorail or maglev, or even trains and trams, SkyWay is much cheaper of all of them. So there is no question about the money aspect. The only question is time today, what we have, the only risk, and when the first project will start, then it's like a snowball effect. All the other projects will start going on as well. Now the news. Quite recently, an address project was announced in United Arab Emirates media, and it's coming to a city called Korfakan, and it's about 100 kilometers long, and it's meant mainly for the sea containers. And I know there is another 10-kilometer track as well planned, which is well, for people, for the travelers, so to say, not for stuff or cargo. And then a few years ago, the 15-kilometer track was announced in Dubai as well, which should come in Dubai in the city center. So let's see, great news. Then also recently we were on French television when the first demonstration of this, what you can see on the picture of this model started, Liivakant, and it's also great. And we are, I believe, approximately after, well, in each month or over months, over 1 month, we are in somewhere in the world in television or in newspapers. Then the expo, which will start in October and will last until I believe it was March or May, so it's about half a year long event, and SkyWay is also presented there, and all the, well, who are more interested in this technology can go on the site as well in Sacha to see it. So this will be a revolution, and I really wait for this, and I hope I can go there as well to see this with my own eyes again and see the development and just feel the energy, and maybe talk to Anatoly Nitsky or the crew or so on to get the glimpse of the information what will start and so on, to give me more security and more power and more information to tell you through the webinars. Therefore, I urge you to take part of the webinars and invite people to the webinars, and just yes, be here at the time and make good and great choices regarding to the technology and regarding to investments. Then very recently, journalists from the National visited US Testing and Certification Center, and we were almost in most of the major newspapers in United Arab Emirates as well. And this was after when there was availability to start testing the models with people. Before it was only running, well, empty. There were no people inside, but now it's possible to carry on people as well and to test the comfortness and comfort and so on as well. And the last news is or are about well, what I said actually earlier. So international media reports, and from 7th to 8th June, the English language edition of Gulf News, Cali Times, and Time Out released publications about the current achievements of Unitsky string technologies in Sharjah and the company's development plans in the United Arab Emirates, and they shared the highlights of different materials. The journalists point out that now in Sharjah there is a 400-meter operating test line on which the passenger transport is already running at the speed of 50 kilometers per hour, and two more 2.4, sorry, not 2.5, but 2.4 kilometer tracks are also under construction. And according to a representative of UST, Unitsky String Transport Company Center in Sharjah, the first of these tracks will be ready by the opening of the expo in October this year, and the second one by May 2022. And the CEO of SRT Park, where the construction takes part at the moment, the Innovation Center construction, said that they are considering Korfakan, and they are also working on operations in the city center, and they hope to commercialize the technology and make it one of the most successful in the region. Yes, and as a reminder, the National, which I told you before, reported that a 130-kilometer freight string track could be built between the city of Korfakan and Sharjah. And in addition, Hussein Al Mahmoud, who is the CEO there, stated that the UST transport could solve the problem of traffic congestion because string tracks are more efficient and do not require large areas of land. So these are all very great news. All right, and in the end, I always like to show this picture here of Dr. Antonio Niske and Dalai Lama. And Dalai Lama gave his blessings and said it won't be an easy path for you, but you will eventually will succeed. So therefore, if this holy man has also given his blessings and all the signs show that we are on the right path, so I believe the only obstacle is time at the moment. When we think about the investors and who have given funds to the company and wish to receive some of those back or sell maybe some shares or receive some dividends, then it will come. It just takes time and we have to be patient. And at the moment, the only thing we can do is give more support out and do active work. And there are also possible to receive benefits from active work as well. So you can all read about this in your back office. So again, all the news are there, videos are there. They are constantly updating the news and videos and information there. All the documents are there, so you can read on your own and make a decision. So thank you very much for today's webinar. The next webinar will take place in the end of month on the 28th of July at the same time, 7 p.m. Moscow time. So take a look at your timetable, what time it is in your country back then. Of course, it's usually recorded via YouTube as well, so you can look the recording later. So there is no problem about that. And invite people, take part yourself, and support the projects, and let's be happy and patient, and eventually it will all work out. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your time and have a great evening. Goodbye.